Good afternoon, and what is a warm, bright and sunny day. It is Wednesday the 13th of September. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And parcel to unbox. So get this open. Don't open that very well, did it? Right there. What I've got here is a copy of the Judge Dredd Companion. Now, this is compiled by Mike Gascoigne, and it's a supplement for Judge Dredd, the role-playing game, published by Games Workshop. And this would have come out. See if I can find a date. Don't see one, but I think it's going to be at 1986, 1987. So, hey creep. Just what do you think you're doing? Yes, you with the shifty, crazed expression. What are you doing wasting your time reading the back of the book when all you have to do is open it? What, are you some kind of coward? This hefty hardback. Let's just check. Hefty hardback. It's 108 pages. That's not hefty. It's a companion to the wonderful Judge Dredd, the role-playing game. And it's stuffed with all kinds of additions, articles and adventures to spice up your game. For a start, there are new rules, special abilities, even a new branch of Justice Department in the shape of Judge Exorcists. There are superpowered vigilantes, the rules for Shuggy, a guide to Brit Sit 1, and a fully detailed sector of the city. There's even a pull-out-and-play board game which recreates that infamous mega city pastime known as Blockout. And then the adventures ease your players gently into the swing of things with On the Beat, Knocking for Six with Channel 9 Crime, Time Special, and then finish off completely with Fear and Loathing in Mega City 1. Now, all you got to do is buy it, or would you rather I boot you for wasting your judge's time? So, yeah, that's the blurb. It's a little bit not particularly easy to read, but as you can see, you've got the great artwork from 2000 AD, and you've got an image of the Judge Dredd role-playing game. Now, there have been, in fact, 5 role-playing games dedicated to Judge Dredd. And the thing is, Judge Dredd, the role-playing game, is the first one, published by Games Workshop in 1985. And back in 1985, it really only had like 8 years of Judge Dredd history to go on. So it could pack an awful lot into its pages, a lot of background, a lot of detail. And that was packaged up with a rule set which really kind of came out of the same school of design as Warhammer Fantasy Battles, or basically Warhammer the Fantasy Battle role-playing game, and then that would feed into, which would go on to feed into Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and Warhammer Fantasy Battles. And as a role-playing game, it's underwhelming. There have been better and more interesting role-playing games mechanically based upon Judge Dredd since. And I've reviewed all of them, and some I like, some I think are good, some I don't like. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of the original Judge Dredd mechanics. I like the game, but not the mechanics because they underpower the judges. See, they come out of the academy and they're supposed to be, quite effective when they start, but you're not in the game. Anyway, what happened with Judge Dredd was it was heavily supported in the pages of White Dwarf, and this sort of like collects some of that content, I believe, and brings it all together. And that content is worth finding because it's a lot of fun, because the writers and authors of Judge Dredd got the humour of it because they were British, got the anarchism of it because they were relatively young, and could share the attitudes of the punk attitudes of the writers of the Judge Dredd comic, and also they all understood that it was a satire. Judge Dredd is upheld as the ultimate lawman, in the mode of Harry Callahan of Dirty Harry fame. Judge Dredd it's a satire. Anyway, so that said, let's have a look what we've got inside. Now I should point out that this is actually intended to go to the United States. That'll be early next year, because, hey, my friend Scott, or our friend Scott, this is all a joint present. He's 50 years old, and he needed something British and snarky for his birthday. So here are the contents page. It's quite short, and we've got a nice skyline there of Mega City 1. And introduction. Before we get into, you can do what? New special abilities for experienced judges. So these, essentially, every time your stats, one of your stats in Judge Dredd, which are rated on percentile values, goes up by 10, i.e. goes from, to 40 to 41, 50 to 51, you can have a special ability. And we've got a whole list of new ones to add to the game. And generally, the special abilities will set the judge apart from the common perps that they will be encountering. So things like street-based skills, discourage perp, pursue, or sense aim, and then side-based skills, hypnotize, suggestion, and so on. And the idea of suggestion, also got an idea, you can give certain abilities to citizens who might be skilled or knowledgeable. And then we have a guide to Britsit, which is this year, make it Britsit, posing it as a holiday brochure, a guide to the equivalent of Mega City 1 here in Great Britain. And then, statistically speaking, official changes to the Judge Dredd strength and hand-to-hand combat rules, because they're kind of not really very good. We have the first adventure, which is ready when you are, a Code 14 adventure, and that's got sort of a kind of short and fun. And then we have I never saw it before, Judge Honest, which is a spontaneous crime blitzes, and essentially this is a spot check. We're going to go to this block, and we're going to check every apartment on this floor, for example. So you have a list of options, and essentially, sorry, to bookmark there, that you can just throw at your player character judges and go, this is what you find. And it's all the more suspicious if you don't find anything, because almost every citizen in Mega City 1 has committed a crime of some kind, however small or large. And then we have, it's tough on let's see what that's called, I'm not quite sure. It's tough on the PEDs, more acceptable for becoming an unofficial judge's handbook to cut out and collect. So it's basically like a collective guide to here's new weapons that the judges might face or use. And then we've got a short solo adventure on the beat for running your rookie judge through a few encounters before they get on to play. So that's actually quite lengthy. Runs to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. And 75 issues, and we've got a picture of old Stony Face himself, Judge Dredd, and the crazy files, a trip through the backwaters of Mac's crime files. Mac is Mac 1, it's sort of like it's the computer system at Justice Central, and there's sort of like, here's some other crimes that you might be investigating, like Tasto Burgers, botting, home synthing, and so on. Advanced driving rules, speed kills, because a big aspect of the game is chases. And this covers speed checks, control loss, pile-ups, and accidental collisions. Faster than a speeding hover pad, adding superheroes to your Judge Dredd game. Now, these are wannabe superheroes, and they are, of course, they're vigilantes, and therefore subject to arrest like every other ordinary citizen. So we've got some sample superheroes, and Clark Duane, and a Bruce Flag, and then adventure ideas to go with it. And then we have board game Blockout, adapted from the comic strip, and then another mini adventure, Repo Man, and then we have sorry, the font in here is not always the easiest to read, so I need to check at the front here. Okay, yes, this is Downtown, which is a notorious area of Mega City 1, which you could sort of set up and establish as your player character judges beat. They could be this is where they could be operating, and run sort of like the equivalent of a Hill Street Blues kind of campaign. So you've actually got quite a lot of detail in just this one location, which is something that Judge Dredd really, as a role-playing game, didn't do. Whole list of perps, and some of them look like particular characters you will recognise from various sources. So let me I'll just show you those. So yeah, definitely not Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor. Definitely not Swamp Thing. And then you've got details of the blocks in the area, a bigger map, and then the Shuggy file, how to play Shuggy, because it's sort of like, one of the Shuggy is a game which is mentioned over and over throughout the Judge Dredd comic. There's even a scenario, the scenario in the box set, the big one, takes place. One of the big early scenes takes place at a Shuggy hall, and then we have the laughs on you, puny mortal. So rules for mutants. How to create them, and this is especially in line with things like the Cursed Earth storyline, where Judge Dredd is trying to cross Cursed Earth, and then we have I Ain't Afraid of No Ghosts, Creep, the Justice Department Exorcism Division, adding supernatural opponents to your game, and then Channel 9 Crime Time Special. Full-scale investigation for a new team of judges. And the other thing to bear in mind about all this content is that if you have access to it, then you have access to content that is eminently playable. Whatever rule set you want, because the setting remains essentially the same. Whilst this scenario Channel 9 Crime Time Special is written for the Judge Dredd role-playing game, it's really very much a very simple matter of taking this and adapting it to the rule set of your choice. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a Judge Dredd rule set, but that's probably your first best choice. And then we have Fear and Loathing in Mega City 1, this is designed for experienced judges. So, if you can find a copy of the original Judge Dredd role-playing game, find a copy of this companion, find copies of the original White Dwarfs, where they published content for Judge Dredd the role-playing game. It's all compatible thematically and setting-wise. So quite a couple of lengthy investigations, because really the limit of the Judge Dredd publishing officially is the core box set, Slaughter Mudgeon and Judgment Day, the 2 scenarios, and they're big, really fun adventures, and then this companion, and it's quite a lot in that, but adding the content from the White Dwarfs, and you have yourself a Judge Dredd mini campaign. Then we have a big race involved, so you're going to have a big chase, possibly make use of the driving rules earlier, and you have more of these maps, which the thing I like about them is they sort of echo the same kind of style you would see later in the Warhammer Fantasy roleplay game, but really kind of cleaned up and for modern, so there's not the roughness around the edges. Then we have another Channel 9 Crime Time special. This one comes with its own comic strip and the reappearance of Judge Death. And there are some bits in here missing, I think basically the parts for the block war game, but you've got all the handouts. And the other thing is it's a little bit water damaged, but not too bad that it's not unreadable. So it's not in unreasonable condition. So yeah, that is the Judge Dredd Companion, and a really great source book for any Judge Dredd role-playing game, whether you're running with an official set of rules or not. So, in the meantime, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings of the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book or game which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. And very lastly, happy birthday, Scott. Happy 50th birthday. Bye for now. And I hope you enjoy this.